Hey, what's going on, everybody? So in this video, I'll be going over Solana, jumping straight into it. I'm going to start off on a 2-week time frame, okay? And just zooming out, as you can see from the start of this bull run, kind of had like a little bit diagonal or vertical resistance lines, so to say. And it was just a high was put in, consolidation for a period of time before breaking out above, right? Could this be another time that we're doing it on Solana? Potentially, right? So just taking that off, just an interesting look. It's happened 3 times so far. I'm going to pull up Fibonacci, going from that swing high to this swing low. Move this over, show it in recent price action, right? As you can see, closures on the 2-week have been above the 0.5, right? The 50% retracement for this Fibonacci range, which is bullish look, right? Currently, we're trying to hold it into the golden pocket. But very well, we could come back to 144 and test that support again at the 50%, right? Even since Solana is an altcoin, the 0.382 and 0.236 are still very good support levels just because it is an altcoin. When it comes to like equities or something, bigger asset, then it'd be kind of shaky if something like those assets come down to these supports. But since this is an altcoin, there's increased volatility, right? Just higher beta. So it's more likely that a 50% could break and a 0.382 or 0.236 could get tested, right? I've seen it many times on altcoins. So as long as Solana is holding between 144 and 109, I'd say bullish continuation is likely, as long as that support holds. Now, if 109 breaks, then potentially something more bearish is happening, right? Maybe a higher time frame top could be put in here. A longer term, more substantial top could be put in at 209. But as of right now, support is holding. So my bias is that Solana eventually breaks out to the upside, right? And some upside targets, if 209 were to break, 290 would be the next look. So break of previous 2021 highs, right? 290 and then 421 could be looks for next targets. Another leg up. 290 first though, and 209 first, obviously. So deleting that fib, we can go to a weekly time frame, kind of dig into this a little bit more. So we have here, so change the color on this support, change it to green. Bit of a range, right? You could say. And pull up a 50% of this range. Move it on over. Right now, Solana is currently breaking under the 50% of the range, right? So the bearish side of this range. So what's likely to happen? Well, in a short term, it's definitely possible that Solana could see some downside, right? Just keeping it short and simple. Solana could see some downside to what? 144 between 118, 109 potentially. But if you pull up a shorter time frame Fibonacci here, like I did on Bitcoin, right, from its low, right, we'll take it from this low. Well, so far, Solana bounced off the 50% retracement at 153. Could that be the higher low that we're looking for before continuing, grinding price action upwards? Potentially. But as I said before, since it is an altcoin, there's increased volatility. So short term, we could see Solana test 153 again, potentially, and again, another zone of support, 153 between 135. Okay, it's just another zone of support inside another zone of support, right? We're in a bullish uptrending market. There's going to be a ton of support that price action could test and use before continuing higher. Okay, so we can delete the higher time frame support, right? Really, it's going to be between 144 and 118. Okay, this short term support, 153 to 135, if this were to break, you could potentially say, well, that's a more of a bearish look, and we could potentially test and swipe the lows at 118, these range lows. That's very possible, right? Okay. So right now, Solana does look a little bit bearish because 50% retracement break. Short-term bearish, in my opinion. Right? We're coming into support. It's not really like I'm saying, oh, you should go leverage short right now. Hell no. Are you kidding me? Not financial advice, but if I were still wanting to be accumulating Solana, I already have a big enough bag. I don't need to add any more Sol. And I got it, you know, much cheaper than 162. Okay. So that's just for me, my situation. But if someone were to be DCAing, well, these could be great. This could be a great support area to look to add, right? 153 to 135. This is a 50% retracement into the 0.236 of this move upwards from 117, 118 to 188, right? A shorter term time frame pullback before potentially we can break above this 50%, right? We kind of come in here, range a little bit, get above this 50%, and start continuing upwards again, right? That's potentially what could happen. But overall, Solana is still bullish, right? It's still in a bullish uptrend. It's been higher highs and higher lows since last year. Okay, the trend is your friend until the very end. Don't miss the forest for the trees, right? I kind of like that quote a lot, right? Also, what you kind of have here is maybe something like this. I'm not really a big pattern guy, not too much of a pattern guy, um, but really just not to dig too much into it anymore. You got strong support at Solana, right? 153, 135. I would expect that to hold, in my opinion, before eventually continuing higher, right? It's going to be choppy, but when the breakout comes, it comes, if it comes. So Sol versus ETH, we can look at as well. Typed in the wrong. Here we go. So this one, I just want to stick on a higher time frame. Keep it very simple. Sol versus ETH looks very bullish as of right now. Okay. The only way I would say ETH would to start outperforming Sol, like inevitably, would be a break of 0.033, right? This swing low from February 2nd, February 26th, if that were to break on a higher time frame basis, then this is probably a much more substantial top than Sol versus Ethereum. But if this holds and we make higher lows, maybe even a double bottom, then I would look for upward continuation on Sol versus Ethereum. And we can pull it up with Fibonacci. It's funny how this works, right? You have the 50% retracement exactly at that swing low. So if that 50% retracement were to break, I'd expect Solana or ETH to outperform Solana for probably a great portion of this market cycle. But if this holds and this golden pocket holds, then I would expect higher. And the next targets, if we were to break this high at 0.59, would be 0.09, right? That would be another 109% move, Solana versus Ethereum. Sol versus BTC, it's going to be very similar. As long as swing low from February 26th holds, Sol versus BTC, in my opinion, is bullish. But if that were to break, well, BTC will likely start to outperform Solana for this cycle. All right, very crucial support on Sol and Bitcoin, Sol, Ethereum. Okay. So, leaving it there with that. Going back to Solana, higher time frame. Just choppy price action consolidation before inevitably likely moving higher, in my opinion. As long as shorter time frame support levels hold, which go hand in hand with higher time frames. Okay. Now, another coin I want to go over is Rndr. Right. What the hell was this? That was a while ago I pulled that up, huh? Okay. So Rndr on a higher time frame. Go to the a weekly chart. What do we see here? It's just been ranging. Right. It's been ranging, and as right now, I mean, you can clear as day see it. It's under the 50% retracement of this range. So if we pull up the Fibonacci here, we're really going to want to see $8.41 hold and $7.59 hold. If the 236 here does not hold, I would expect Rndr to swipe the low at $6.27. That's just what I would expect. Okay. This could be a weekly lower high if that were to break, in my opinion. But if these support levels were to hold, the 382 and the 0.236 and the 50% retracement, we could potentially see a weekly higher low, break this high and have a weekly higher high before eventually breaking out of this all-time high at $13 and go into $15, $20 on Rndr. In my opinion, that's the scenario we see, as Rndr is one of the strongest AI coins, and AI is a very strong narrative, right? And you would expect support to hold as long as it's right in front of your face and holding, right? Until proven otherwise. Just real quick analysis here on Rndr. I'm still a bull on Rndr. It's one of my biggest holdings. So that $7.59 is a crucial level of support to hold. It's kind of like the last leg, in my opinion. If not, we could see a swipe of this low. But even then, there is a potential that you see a deviation of this range, right? Price breaks it, comes back in, retest, and goes higher, just like Bitcoin did. Okay, that's also potentially a scenario as well. But if that comes, we can talk about it. As of right now, that $7.59, the 236 level, crucial support. I would like that to be held. Very simple. And overall, Rndr's just been ranging. Remember, it is an altcoin. There's increased volatility with it. It could take some time to break out. Okay. Another one would be Fetch. Another one of my biggest holdings as well. So keeping it very simple. Right now we're testing the 382. Kind of looks like we want to break it, to be honest with you, and swipe this wick low. The final support for Fetch will be $1.20. Okay. I don't know if this wick was real or not here, all the way to 250 back in 2021. But $1.20, if that wick wasn't real, the previous all-time high was $1.20, right? Just about. So if that support level does not hold for fetch, something more bearish is happening potentially, and this could have been a more substantial top being put in on Fetch AI, right at $3.48. But if this 236 were to hold, well, we could just say that's a retest of previous all-time highs in that breakout, and eventually it could grind up higher, head towards like $5.31 or $8.29, right, later in this cycle, potentially. Okay, so just very short and simple. You either hold support here at $1.60 on Fetch, or you break $1.60 and you're going to be testing $1.19. Short, sweet, and simple. In my opinion, there's nothing too bearish about it. It's just a higher time frame breakout and then a back test, and potentially you move on higher. Okay. But there you have it, guys. Solana, Fetch, Rndr. I'll leave it there with that. And yeah, thank you. Peace out.